So we've already learned about perimeter of irregular shapes by adding up all the sides. We have learned perimeter of regular shapes, polygons, by using formula. Today we're going to learn the circumference of a circle. Now the perimeter, we're talking about sides. Circles don't have sides. So that's why it's called the circumference. The perimeter of a circle is called circumference. It has a formula, so it's considered a polygon. The formula is C for circumference equals pi times d, where pi is pi, pi. It's a math letter, but it also represents a number, and it's used with a symbol. So the symbol has like a wavy bit and then two legs. That's pi. Pi always equals 3.14. Technically, it goes past 3.14, like it's a repeating decimal and it goes forever. It's a decimal for infinity. But of course, we don't want to use that on our everyday math questions. So mathematicians kind of got together and they decided, okay, when we're using pi in our calculations, then we use 3.14 only. Now, we've done C, circumference, pi, 3.14, d. D is the diameter of the circle. The diameter is a line that goes from side to side, or edge to edge. So the diameter cuts the circle in half. So it touches one side and goes across through the middle of the circle all the way to the other side. That's the diameter of a circle. It's like it cuts it right in half. And it has to go from side to side. It cannot stop. It must touch both sides. Now that you know what all of them are, let's replace and find out what the circumference is of this circle. Don't forget to pause if you need to, and make sure you have all of this written down. All right, so C equals pi times d. So C equals pi is always 3.14. Whoops. Times d. Look at the diagram. The diagram says that d, the diameter, is 5 centimeters. So I write 5. So your first line is always your formula first. Second line, C equals, replace pi with how much you know that it is, 3.14, and replace d with how much that you know that it is, in this case, 5. Then you do your outside calculations. So you take your 3.14 and you multiply it with the diameter 5. 5 times 4 is 20, carry your 2. 5 times 1 is 5, plus the 2 that you carried is 7. 5 times 3 is 15. You've got 2 decimal spots, so you're going to have 2 decimal spots. 15.70. That's your answer. Circumference equals 15.70 centimeters. Don't forget that unit of measurement. So there you go, that's circumference. Once you know what the diameter is, you just multiply it with 3.14 and you're good to go. One calculation only. Sometimes though, the diagram is only going to show you the radius, which means you have to calculate the diameter yourself. So let's take a look at what that looks like. The radius of a circle is halfway across. So remember, your diameter goes all the way across the circle. The radius only goes halfway. It goes from the middle to one edge. It does not connect both edges together. The formula requires you to have the diameter. So if the diagram on your paper only gives you the radius, then you need to find the diameter yourself. How do you do that? Easy. The diameter is the radius times 2. It's 2 radiuses together to go from edge to edge. So if you're only given the radius, you multiply it by 2 and that'll give you the diameter. So in this case, the r is 2, the radius is 2, which means the diameter is 4. I multiplied the 2 together. I did not need to do an outside calculation for that. Maybe you'll have to do outside calculations for some of them, but this one was easy enough. So if ever you're given just the radius, you times it by 2, and then you'll find the diameter. So once you have the diameter, which is 4, you can go ahead and find the circumference. So now, for this example here, we took the radius, we times it by 2 to find the diameter, and now we're going to use our circumference to find out the circumference. So, circumference equals pi is 3.14, and the diameter I just figured out is 4. So I do my outside calculation, 3.14 times 4. So 4 times 4 is 16, carry your 1. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. 4 times 3 is 12. 2 decimal spots, 2 decimal spots. So the circumference of my circle is 12.56 centimeters. Because that's how much it was in drawing, centimeters. All right, so that's what you're going to do today. You're going to use these formula to find the circumference of circles. Turn to page 11 in your folder. So you're going to do all of page 11 today. So we're going to do 2 examples together, number 1 and number 2. So number 1 tells me that the diameter of this circle, the D is 14. So I always start with, all right, try this again. All right, let's see if this is gonna work. Okay, so the circumference, that's better, is pi times d. The circumference is, pi is always 3.14. In this case, the diameter is 14. So, outside calculation, 3.14 times 14. Don't forget, when you're multiplying, put the number that has more numbers on the top. And you don't have to line up the decimals. So you don't have to put the 14 over here, because you don't add the decimal till the end. So 4 times 4 is 16, carry the 1. 4 times 1 is 5, plus 4, plus 1 is 5. 4 times 3 is 12. Put your x and move to the 1. Now we've done this before. We've learned 2-digit multiplication, so you're going to need to remember how to do it. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. I add up the 2 lines together. 6 plus nothing is 6. 5 plus 4 is 9. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. I have 2 decimal spots, so I'll have 2 decimal spots. So the circumference of my circle is 43 9/96. Check the unit of measurement. These ones are meters, so you put meters. Now don't forget, I'm sure I've reminded you in other videos, you have to answer all of these pages from the folder in your notebook. There's not enough room on any of the folder pages for all the work you need to do. So make sure you're answering everything in the notebook. Everything. All right. Let's do number 2. Number 2 does not give us the diameter. So the first thing I need to do is figure out the diameter. Remember, to figure out the diameter, if they only give you the radius, you have to times it by 2. The radius in this one is 4. 4 times 2 is 8, so I can use 8 as my diameter. I have to do this first before I find the circumference. I need to know what the diameter is before I can use my formula. So, circumference equals pi times diameter. C equals 3.14 times, and I figured out that the diameter is 8, so I times them together. Over in my good old outside calculations, 3.14 times 8. So 8 times 4 is 32, carry your 2. 8 times 1 is 8, plus the 3 that you carried is 11. 8 times 3 is 24, plus the 1 that you carried is 25. 2 decimal spots, 2 decimal spots. Your circumference is 25.212, and these are meters. So you're going to do all of page 11, and then you're going to do page 12, 4 to 9, page 13, 4 to 9, and page 14, 5 to 8. Only circumference today, so you're only working with circles, and you're only working with that one formula. So go ahead and get started.